June stood at the large window of the space station, looking at the stars. His heart beat fast in his chest. Today was a big day. As Earth's top space scientist, he was now the leader of the first human team to meet with the Galactic Tribunal. "Are you ready?" asked Hannah, walking up next to him. Her dark hair was tied back neatly, and her eyes showed both worry and hope. "I have to be," said June, turning to face her. "Earth is counting on us." It had been only 6 months since the aliens had come to Earth. They arrived in ships that made human rockets look like toys. They spoke of a great group of space people called the Galactic Tribunal. The Tribunal had over 300 different kinds of aliens who all traveled in space, and now humans were being asked to join them. But June knew it was not that simple. The meeting room was huge. June and his team of 5 humans walked in, trying not to stare at the strange creatures all around them. Some had too many eyes. Others had skin that changed colors. A few looked almost like humans, but with small differences that made them seem wrong somehow. At the front of the room sat Magistrate Kolvar. He was tall and thin with gray skin and 4 arms. His face showed no feeling as the humans came in. "Welcome, Earth people," said Kolvar. His voice was deep and came through a small machine that changed his words to English. "We will now hear your requests for trade and space travel rights." June stepped forward. He had practiced this speech many times. "Thank you, Magistrate Kolvar and members of the Tribunal. Earth is happy to join the galactic community. We ask for fair trade rules and the right to visit nearby stars." A low sound, like laughing, came from many aliens in the room. Kolvar held up one of his 4 hands, and they stopped. "Earth has only sent people to its own moon," said Kolvar. "You have no faster-than-light travel. Your computers are simple. Your weapons are weak. You are," he seemed to look for the right word, "primitive." June felt his face grow hot. "With respect, Magistrate, humans have made great progress in just the last 100 years. We learn fast." "Perhaps," said Kolvar. "But the Tribunal has rules. New species must prove they are ready. Earth will be allowed limited trade. You may buy some basic space technology. You may not visit any star systems without special permission. You may not join any tribunal meetings for at least 50 Earth years." 50 years. June could not believe it. He opened his mouth to argue, but Hannah touched his arm, warning him to be careful. "We understand," said June, though he did not. "Thank you for your time." As they left the meeting room, Hannah whispered to June, "Did you see how they treated the blue-skinned aliens from Rigel? They just joined last year, but already have trading rights." June nodded. "And the furry ones from Ta City? They have ships visiting 10 different systems." "It's not fair," said Hannah. "They're treating us worse than others." Back in their small rooms on the space station, the human team talked about what happened. "They think we're stupid," said Ta, the youngest team member. His eyes were angry behind his glasses. "They want to keep us weak so they can take Earth's resources." "Maybe," said June. "But we need to be smart about this. If we fight them directly, they could hurt Earth." "So what do we do?" asked Sung, the oldest member of the team. His voice was calm, but his hands were tight fists. June looked at each of them. "We learn. We watch. We find their weak spots. They think humans are primitive." He smiled for the first time that day. "Let's show them how dangerous primitive can be." Outside the window, the great ships of the Tribunal moved slowly past the stars. The aliens thought they had seen all that humans could do. They were wrong. Back on Earth, Ta sat in his small office. Stacks of paper and old coffee cups covered his desk. His eyes were red from looking at his computer screen for too long. As a legal researcher, he had been studying the Tribunal's rules for weeks. "This can't be right," he said to himself, leaning closer to his screen. The Tribunal had given Earth access to some of their laws and history. Most people thought it was just a nice gesture, but Ta knew better. Inside these files might be a way to help Earth. His office door opened, and his boss walked in. "Ta, go home. It's past midnight," she said. "Just a few more minutes," he said, not looking up. "I think I found something important." His boss sighed and left. Ta didn't notice. He was too busy reading about something called the Emerging Species Protection Act. The next morning, Ta called a meeting with other researchers. He could barely stay still as they came in. "I found it," he said, putting a thick stack of papers on the table. "The tribunal has been breaking their own rules." "What do you mean?" asked Sue, another researcher. Todd pointed to a page. "This law was made 4,000 years ago. It says that new species must be protected and helped. They should get fair trading rights and be allowed to visit nearby stars." "But that's not what they told our team," said Sue. "Exactly." Ta was almost shouting now. "They're treating us worse than their own laws say they should. And I bet they've been doing this to other new species too." "We need to tell June," said Sue. "But will he believe us?" Ta thought for a moment. "We need more proof. Help me find cases where they used this law before." For the next 3 days, the research team worked without stopping. They found old cases where the tribunal had used the Emerging Species Protection Act to help other aliens. They also found cases where the law had been ignored. "Look at this pattern," said Tai, showing a chart to Sue. "Species with valuable resources or useful technology get fair treatment. Species that seem weak or don't have anything special get bad deals." "And where do humans fit?" asked Sue. "They think we're weak. They think we don't have anything they want," said Ta. "But they're wrong." That night, Ta sent a message to June on the space station. It was risky to send such important information, but Earth needed to know. June read the message in his small room on the station. His hand shook as he realized what it meant. "Hannah, come see this," he called. Hannah read the message twice. "Is this real? Can we use their own laws against them?" "If Tai is right, yes," said June. "But it will be dangerous. The tribunal won't like being challenged." June called a secret meeting with his team. They gathered in his room, speaking in whispers. "If we do this, we risk making powerful enemies," said Sung, the oldest team member. "But if we don't, Earth stays under their control for decades," said Hannah. "We need to be smart about this," said June. "We need more information, and we need help from someone who knows the tribunal better than we do." "I might know someone," said Min, who had been quiet until now. "An alien legal advisor named Salter. He helped my science team last month. He seemed unhappy with how the tribunal works." June nodded. "Set up a meeting, but be careful. We can't let anyone know what we're planning." That night, as the space station's lights dimmed to show it was nighttime, June looked out at the stars again. This time, he felt something new: hope. "They think humans are too primitive to understand their laws," he said quietly. "They're about to learn how fast humans can learn." Behind him, on his desk, the ancient text of the Emerging Species Protection Act glowed on his screen. The weapon they needed had been given to them by the very people who looked down on them. Meeting Salter was not easy. The alien did not want to be seen with humans. Finally, they met in a quiet part of the space station where few people went. Salter looked almost like a tall human, except for his blue skin and large, all-black eyes. He spoke softly. "What you ask is very dangerous," he said after June explained their plan. "The tribunal does not like to be challenged." "But the law exists," said June. "The Emerging Species Protection Act is real." "Yes," said Salter, his long fingers touching a datapad. "And it has been ignored for over 800 years. Many new species have been treated poorly because of this." "Will you help us?" asked Hannah. Salter was quiet for a long time. "My people were once like yours. We were called primitive. It took us 200 years to gain full rights. I will help you, but we must be very careful." Over the next week, a small team formed. June, Hannah, and some worked with Salter to build their case. Ta sent more information from Earth. They learned that they would need to file a formal complaint with the tribunal court. The hard part will be getting them to hear the case, said Salter. They will try to dismiss it right away. Then we need to make it impossible to dismiss, said June. We need solid proof and clear arguments. They worked in secret, using Salter's private room to avoid being seen. Hana was good at organizing the information. Sung knew how to write formal documents from his years as a diplomat on Earth. June led the team, making sure everyone worked together well. One day, while they were working, Salter brought news. I have contacted representatives from 3 other new species, he said. They have all been treated unfairly like humans. They are willing to support your case. That's great, said Hana. It is risky for them, said Salter, but they are tired of being treated as lesser beings. As they worked, June noticed something special about his team. They were learning the complex tribunal laws faster than anyone expected. Humans were good at adapting and finding patterns. Salter, June said one night, how long does it usually take to learn tribunal law? Most species take years to understand the basics, said Salter. Why? We've learned it in weeks, said June. I think this is a human strength. We adapt quickly. Salter seemed surprised. This is true. Your team has learned faster than any species I have seen. This gave June an idea. What if our adaptability is our most valuable trait? Not our technology or resources, but how fast we learn and change. The team started working even harder. They found more cases where the tribunal had ignored their own laws. They prepared arguments based on the exact words of the Emerging Species Protection Act. One night, Earth's leaders called June. They appeared on a large screen in a secure room. This is too risky, said the world president. You could make the tribunal angry at all humans. With respect, said June, they already look down on us. If we do nothing, Earth will be treated unfairly for decades. We cannot officially support this action, said the president. But we will not stop you either. After the call ended, some looked worried. We're on our own, he said. We always were, said June. But we have something they don't expect. What's that? Asked Hana. June smiled. We have the truth, and we have the human ability to learn and adapt faster than they can imagine. As they finished their work, June realized they were ready. It was time to challenge the mighty Galactic Tribunal, using their own laws against them. Word spread quickly through the space station. Aliens whispered about the humans who dared to challenge the tribunal. Some laughed at the idea. Others watched with interest. In a large meeting room, the most powerful tribunal leaders gathered. Magistrate Kolvar stood at the head of the table, his 4 arms crossed. These humans are becoming a problem, he said. They are looking into old laws and asking too many questions. Let them try, said another leader, a short, round alien with green skin. Their case will be dismissed right away. I am not so sure, said a third leader, who looked like a tall insect. The Emerging Species Protection Act is a real law. If they use it correctly, we may have to hear their case. Kolvar slammed one hand on the table. This could cause problems beyond Earth. What if other new species start asking for their rights too? The room went quiet. This was the real worry. The tribunal had been keeping many new species weak for years. It was good for business and power. We need someone to talk to these humans, said Kolvar. Someone they might trust. In another part of the station, Du Hyun sat at his desk. He was human, but had been working for the tribunal for 5 years. He was one of the few humans allowed to work there before Earth officially joined. His computer screen lit up with a message from Kolvar. As he read it, Du Hyun frowned. They wanted him to stop June's team from filing their case. Do Hyun did not like this job. He had worked hard to earn respect among the aliens, but he also knew that Earth was being treated unfairly. That night, Do Hyun met with June's team in their quarters. June looked at him with suspicion. I know why you're here, said June. Kolvar sent you to stop us. Do Hyun nodded. He did, but I want to hear your side first. Hana showed him their work. all the evidence they had collected about the Emerging Species Protection Act. Do-hyun looked surprised as he read through it. "You've done good work," he admitted, "but you don't understand the politics. Many powerful species benefit from keeping new members weak. They won't let you win easily. So we should just accept being treated as lesser beings?" asked Sung, his voice sharp. Do-hyun was quiet for a moment. "When I came here 5 years ago, I thought I could help Earth by working inside the system. But I've watched as they've kept us down, no matter how much we prove ourselves." "Then help us," said June. "You know the tribunal better than we do." Do-hyun looked at each of them. "They will try to stop you. They might even threaten Earth." "We know the risks," said Hana, "but we can't let them keep treating humans and other species this way." Finally, Do-hyun nodded. "I'll help you, but we need to be smart about this. The tribunal is divided into factions. Some of the older species are unhappy with how Kolvar and his allies run things. We might find support there." "You're risking your job," said June. "Maybe it's time I remembered where I came from," said Do-hyun. "What's your plan?" June smiled. "We're going to file our case during the next full session of the tribunal. When all representatives are present, they won't be able to hide it then." "That's in 3 days," said Do-hyun, looking worried. "Are you ready?" "We are," said June. "The question is, are they ready for us?" As they talked, in other parts of the station, more aliens were choosing sides. Some wanted to see the humans fail. Others hoped they might succeed and change the balance of power. The quiet challenge was becoming a storm that would soon shake the entire Galactic Tribunal. The day of the full tribunal session arrived. The great meeting hall was filled with representatives from over 300 alien species. They sat in rising circles around a central speaking area. The room hummed with many voices speaking different languages. June and his team waited in a small room nearby. They had worked all night preparing their documents and evidence. "Are you sure about this?" asked Sung, looking at June. "Once we do this, there's no going back." "I'm sure," said June. His hands were steady as he checked their files one last time. Hana looked out at the crowded hall through a small window. "Almost every species is here today. The timing is perfect." "Remember," said Do-hyun, "you have the right to speak during the open comments period. They can't stop you then." Inside the hall, Magistrate Kolvar called the meeting to order. His voice boomed through the room. "Today we will discuss trade agreements with the Centauri system," he began. "Then we will—" "Point of order," a voice called out from near the back. It was Talter, standing at his seat. "Before other business, I believe we should have the open comments period." Kolvar's eyes narrowed. "That is not necessary today. We have much to." "The rules are clear," said Salter, his voice firm. "Every full session must begin with open comments. This is in Section 47 of the Tribunal Charter." Other representatives began to murmur in agreement. Kolvar looked around, then nodded stiffly. "Very well. Open comments will begin now. Each speaker has 2 minutes." This was the moment. June walked into the great hall with Hana behind him. They moved to the central speaking area. June could feel hundreds of alien eyes watching him. "I am June of Earth," he said, his voice strong and clear. "I come before the tribunal today to file a formal case." The room grew louder as aliens whispered to each other. Kolvar leaned forward. "What case do you wish to file?" he asked, sounding bored. June took a deep breath. "Earth claims that the tribunal has violated the Emerging Species Protection Act in its treatment of humans and other new species." The room exploded with noise. Some aliens stood up, shouting. Others looked confused. Kolvar banged his hand on his desk for quiet. "This is ridiculous," he said. "That law is still valid," said June. "It has never been removed from tribunal law." As he spoke, Hana and several allies moved quickly through the hall, handing out data pads to key representatives. Each pad contained their evidence and legal arguments. "What are you doing?" demanded Kolvar. "Providing evidence to all tribunal members," said June. "As is our right when filing a case." An old alien with silvery skin stood up. "I have reviewed this evidence. It appears the humans are correct about the law's existence and its violation," added another representative. Kolvar's face darkened. "Even if this old law exists, it does not mean." "It means," said June, looking directly at Kolvar, "that Earth demands a fair hearing, and we want representatives from all species who have joined the tribunal in the last 100 years to be heard as well." The room was in chaos now. Newer species were standing up, calling out their support. Older, powerful species were demanding the case be dismissed. Kolvar raised all four of his arms for silence. When the room finally quieted, he spoke in a cold voice. "The humans have filed their case according to our procedures. We cannot dismiss it without a hearing." His eyes fixed on June. "The trial will begin in 3 weeks. 3 weeks, said Hannah quietly to June. "That's not enough time to prepare." "That's the point," whispered June. "They're trying to rush us." As they left the hall, Do-hyun caught up with them. "You did it," he said. "But Kolvar will make this as difficult as possible." June nodded. "We expected that, but now they have to face us in court." Behind them, the great hall was still filled with loud voices and arguments. The Galactic Tribunal would never be the same again. 3 weeks was not much time. June's team moved to a larger room where they could work better. Data pads and papers covered every surface. Empty food containers showed how long they had been working without rest. "We need more help," said Hannah, rubbing her tired eyes. "There's too much to do." June nodded. "Do-hyun is asking some of the other new species to help us. They have a stake in this too." Just then, the door opened. A tall woman with short black hair walked in. She looked around the messy room with sharp eyes. "I'm Jin," she said. "Earth sent me to help. I study alien languages." "Thank you for coming," said Jun, showing her to a desk. "We need someone who can make sure our words are translated perfectly. The tribunal might try to twist our meaning." Jin nodded. "I studied the 5 main tribunal languages for years. They won't trick us with words." The team grew stronger, but so did the problems they faced. Strange things began to happen. One morning, they found their computer system wasn't working. "Someone has damaged it," said Sung, looking at the broken parts. This wasn't an accident. Another day, they discovered they couldn't access important tribunal records anymore. "Our access has been blocked," said Hannah. "How can we prepare without these files?" Do-hyun helped where he could. "Some of the older representatives are watching Kolvar closely now," he told them. "They don't like how he's handling this." But then something more serious happened. Jin was walking back to their room late one night when 2 large aliens stopped her in a dark hallway. "Humans should know when to stay quiet," one said. "Go home before someone gets hurt." Jin reported this to the team. Jun was angry, but not surprised. "They're scared," he said. "They know we might win." As they worked, Jin made an important discovery. She found old records that showed the tribunal had been taking resources from new species for centuries. "Look at this pattern," she said, showing the team. "Every time a new species joins, the tribunal takes their best resources for the first 50 years. It's not just unfair, it's stealing." "This is exactly what we need," said Jun. "Proof that they've been using this system to take advantage of new species." Meanwhile, back on Earth, governments were arguing about the case. Some leaders wanted to support Jun's team. Others were afraid of making the tribunal angry. "What if they attack Earth?" asked one world leader during a meeting. "What if they keep treating us like children for the next 50 years? Answered another. "Jun's team is right to challenge them." In the end, Earth decided to quietly support the case. They sent Jin and 2 more helpers. They also sent new computers that couldn't be damaged as easily. With 1 week left before the trial, Jun called his team together. "We've worked hard," he said, But the trial will be the real test. The tribunal will try to make us look stupid. They will try to confuse us. They will say humans are too primitive to understand their laws. But we do understand them, said Hannah. Better than they expected. Yes, said June with a smile. And we have one more thing they don't know about. He showed them a small device. It looked simple, but it wasn't. Tai and Earth's best computer experts made this, he said. It can search all tribunal laws in seconds. It can find connections between cases faster than any alien system. The team looked at the device with hope. They had worked around the clock. They had faced threats and sabotage. Now they had only one more thing to do. Win their case against the most powerful group in the galaxy. Get some rest, said June. Trial day is coming soon. The Great Hall of Justice was ancient and huge. Stone walls rose high above, with strange symbols carved into them. The ceiling looked like a night sky, with thousands of tiny lights like stars. It was built to make visitors feel small and afraid. Hundreds of aliens filled the seats that circled the main floor. Many had come just to see the humans fail. In the center stood two tables, one for June's team, and one for the tribunal's defenders. Stay calm, June told his team as they walked in. Remember everything we practiced. Hannah, Sung, Jin, and Do-hyun followed him to their table. They placed their data pads and the special device on it. Salter sat in the audience, ready to help if needed. At the other table sat Prosecutor Xerix, a tall alien with red scales and 6 fingers on each hand. He was famous for never losing a case. Behind him sat a team of legal experts from 5 different species. Above them all, on a high platform, sat 5 judges. Magistrate Kolvar was the main judge. He looked down at the humans with cold eyes. The hall is now in session, announced a voice. Case 47,291. Earth versus the Galactic Tribunal regarding the Emerging Species Protection Act. Kolvar spoke first. Prosecutor Xerix will present the tribunal's position. Xerix stood and walked to the center of the floor. His voice was smooth and confident. Honored judges, representatives of the galaxy, he began. Today we face an unusual situation. A primitive species, barely able to reach their own moon, dares to challenge the wisdom of the tribunal. He walked slowly around the room as he spoke. Humans have existed as a unified society for less than 200 years. They still fight wars among themselves. Their technology is basic. Their understanding of the galaxy is like a child's. Xerix showed images of Earth's oldest rockets, making some aliens laugh. The Emerging Species Protection Act was created for truly promising new species, he continued. Species that show great potential. Humans have shown nothing special. For 2 hours, Xerix talked about human weaknesses. He showed Earth's pollution, its wars, its simple computers compared to alien technology. The tribunal was generous to even allow humans to join at all, he said. They should be grateful, not demanding more rights. When he finished, the hall was quiet. Many aliens were nodding in agreement. It seemed the humans had no chance. The Earth team may now present their opening statement, said Kolvar. He looked pleased with Xerix's speech. June stood and walked to the center of the floor. He looked small compared to Xerix, and many aliens leaned forward, curious to see what he would say. Honored judges, representatives of all species, June began. His voice was calm and clear. I stand before you today not to deny that humans are young in the stars. We are. This surprised many. They expected him to argue that humans were advanced. Earth has only sent people to our moon. Our ships are simple compared to yours. Our technology has far to go, Jung continued. Kolvar frowned. This was not what he expected. But the Emerging Species Protection Act was not created for advanced species, said June. It was created to protect and help new members, to give them a fair chance to grow. June walked slowly, looking at different aliens as he spoke. Many of you remember when your own species was new to the stars, how hard it was. How much you had to learn. Some of the older aliens nodded. All we ask is for the same fair treatment that was promised in your own laws, said June. Not because humans are special or advanced, but because the law should work the same for everyone. As June finished, there was silence, then quiet talking among the aliens. Some looked thoughtful now. Others still seemed doubtful. Culver banged his hand on his desk. We will now proceed to evidence. Prosecutor Xerix, you may begin. The real battle was about to start. The second day of the trial began with Prosecutor Xerix showing more evidence of human primitive behavior. He talked about how humans couldn't travel faster than light, how their longest space mission was only to their nearest planet, and how their languages were too simple compared to alien ones. Giving full rights to humans now would be like giving a baby a spaceship, Xerix said, making many aliens laugh. When it was finally the humans' turn to present evidence, the hall became quiet. Everyone watched as Hannah walked to the center of the floor. The tribunal believes humans are too primitive to understand your complex laws, she began. So let me show you what humans can do. She held up the small device June had shown the team earlier. It looked too simple to impress anyone. This is a legal database and analysis system, she said. It was built by humans in just 2 weeks. Xerix laughed. The tribunal has the largest legal database in the galaxy. It took 500 years to build. Yes, said Hannah, and our system can search it faster than yours. A large screen appeared above them. Hannah connected their device to it. Please, anyone in the audience, name a case from tribunal history, she said. An alien stood up. Case 15,398. The Rigel water rights. Hannah touched the device. In less than 1 second, the case appeared on the screen with all its details. Now ask for a connection between 2 different cases, she said. Another alien called out 2 case numbers. Again, the device showed the answer almost instantly. The hall was quiet now. No one was laughing. This system, said Hannah, can find every case where the Emerging Species Protection Act was used correctly, and every case where it was ignored. She touched the device again. The screen filled with a list of cases spanning hundreds of years. In the last 800 years, 94 new species joined the tribunal, she said. According to our analysis, 67 of them were denied their rights under the Emerging Species Protection Act. Xerix jumped up. This is nonsense. Their primitive device cannot possibly. Test it yourself, said Hannah, offering the device to him. Ask it any question about tribunal law. Xerix looked at Culver, who nodded. The prosecutor took the device and asked a very difficult legal question. The answer appeared instantly, showing 5 different cases that related to his question. Xerix's red scales seemed to pale. He handed the device back without a word. Jin stepped forward next. The tribunal thinks human languages are too simple, she said. Let me show you what we can do with languages. She displayed texts in the 5 main tribunal languages, then showed how she had found errors in the official translations of the Emerging Species Protection Act. These errors changed the meaning of the law, she said. When translated correctly, the law clearly states that all new species must receive equal treatment and trading rights. Murmurs spread through the hall. Many aliens were talking to each other now. Sung stood up next. He showed evidence they had gathered about resources taken from new species without fair payment. The numbers were huge. As the human team presented their case, the mood in the hall changed. Some aliens looked angry, not at the humans, but at the tribunal. Others looked impressed by what the humans had done. Magistrate Culver tried to control his anger. We will break for today and continue tomorrow, he announced. The judges will consider the evidence presented. As the human team gathered their things, many aliens came to look at their device more closely. How did you build this so quickly? One asked. June smiled. It's what humans do best. We adapt. We learn. We solve problems. For the first time since arriving at the tribunal, Jun felt they had a real chance to win. The final day of the trial arrived. The Great Hall of Justice was packed with aliens from every part of the galaxy. News of the humans' performance had spread quickly. Jun and his team sat at their table, tired but hopeful. The past 3 days had been hard, but they had shown what humans could do. Magistrate Kolvar and the other judges entered the hall. Everyone stood until they were seated on their high platform. "Before we give our judgment," said Kolvar, "does the human team wish to make a final statement?" Jun stood and walked to the center of the floor one last time. "Honored judges," he said, looking up at them. "Throughout this trial, we have not argued that humans are the most advanced species. We are young in the stars. We have much to learn." He turned to look at all the aliens in the hall. "But we have also shown what humans can do. We adapt quickly. We learn systems and make them better. We find connections others miss. These are valuable traits in any galaxy." Jun's voice grew stronger. "The Emerging Species Protection Act exists for a reason. New species need fair treatment to grow and contribute to galactic society. Humans want to contribute. So do the many other species who have been denied their rights." He returned to his seat. The hall was silent. Kolvar spoke with the other judges in quiet voices for several minutes. Finally, he looked out at the waiting crowd. "This case has been unusual," he said. "We have reviewed all evidence presented. We have studied the Emerging Species Protection Act in its original form." He paused, and Jun held his breath. "The judgment of the tribunal is as follows. The human claim is valid. The Emerging Species Protection Act does apply to Earth and all new member species." A loud sound filled the hall as many aliens began talking at once. Some stood and cheered. Others looked angry. Kolvar raised his hands for quiet. "All restrictions placed on Earth's trading rights are removed," he continued. "Humans may travel to nearby star systems without special permission." And he seemed unhappy to say this part. "This ruling applies to all species who joined the tribunal in the last 100 years. Jun and his team could hardly believe it. They had won. "This case is now closed," said Kolvar, standing quickly and leaving the platform. Aliens crowded around the human team, congratulating them. Representatives from other new species thanked them with tears in their eyes. "You have changed everything," said Salter, his black eyes showing his happiness. "Not just for humans, but for dozens of species." 1 week later, Jun stood at the same window where the story began, looking out at the stars. So much had changed. Earth ships were now allowed to visit 5 nearby star systems. Trade agreements were being rewritten, and humans were no longer seen as just primitive newcomers. Hana joined him at the window. "The transport back to Earth leaves tomorrow," she said. "Are you ready to go home?" Before Jun could answer, Do-hyun approached them. "I have a message from the Tribunal Inner Council," he said. "They are creating a new department to review all cases where the Emerging Species Protection Act was violated. They want you both to help lead it." "Us?" asked Jun in surprise. "Why?" "Because humans see things differently," said Do-hyun. "And right now, the tribunal needs different thinking." "There's more," said Do-hyun. "Magistrate Kolvar has been asked to welcome you to the Inner Council meetings. He's not happy about it, but he has no choice." Jun smiled as he looked back at the stars. The tribunal had thought humans were primitive because they couldn't travel faster than light or build massive space stations. But they had learned an important lesson. True intelligence isn't just about technology. It's about seeing problems in new ways, about adapting and growing, about using the tools you have to create something better. "Tell them we accept," said Jun. "It seems humans have a lot more to teach the galaxy."